Okay, hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? Well, yeah. I'm going to try to be at the level as before. So, I'm Dimitri. I'm one of the founders of Tiller. Who in the room knows Tiller? Okay, not bad. So what I propose is I'm just going to give you a quick update on the story of Tiller, how we started, how we developed, what we did, the mistakes we made, the decisions we took. It's going to be short, don't worry. And then especially take some time to answer questions if you guys have. It's a lot focused on HR, on sales, on why we made a decision at the time. So keep your questions for the end if you can, and don't hesitate. So just to start a little, Tiller started like this. Tiller started as an iPad-based point-of-sale system, cash register, for the merchants. The idea was simple. When we started, we were all working in the restaurant and the hospitality industry. We were working at Accor hotels. And we found out that most of the restaurants in the world today were still working with, let's say, traditional systems like this one. So you've all seen them in restaurants and stores. This, just to give you an idea, a little more modern, is 30% of the European market today. So we knew there was something to do. And to give you the very honest story, our first idea wasn't to build a cash register. No one wakes up in the morning and says, okay, let's build a cash register, because, you know, it's not very sexy. It's not a neobank. So the first idea we had is let's build a really cool reporting tool, a management platform for merchants. And so we had this whole business idea. We were very tech business people. And we decided to build this first product, which was a management platform for our customers, for restaurants. And it was a web-based back office where you could access in real time all your data, analytics, everything that was happening in your restaurant and in your store. And so here's the first lesson, because we said, okay, we built an incredible product. It was at the beginning, we were only 3 of us. And we said, okay, it's for sure it's gonna work. It's exactly what we want. It's answering their needs. And so we went to the restaurants. We were Rue Montorgueil, not far from here. And we went door to door to the restaurant and showed them the product. We were really proud of it. We had been working on it for 8 months. And the more we talked to our customers, the more they loved the product, but none was willing to pay for it. And it's a little the first lesson that came in mind when building a product on our side is that a product is only good for me as long as as long as someone is willing to pay for it. And for me, it's a very important lesson, and that we still keep in mind today, is saying that for me, a product is ready and a product is developed when in front of you, someone does not only say, I like it, but they say, I'm willing to pay for it. And not only they say it, but they do it. So basically, we went to all these restaurants in the street in Paris. I think we did 1,000 restaurants in a couple months, so we went. And we found out that they liked the product, they liked the idea, but they were not willing to pay for it. So we said, okay, first lesson we learned, it was a little tough. We said, let's take it all from the beginning. And let's enter the market, and we wanted to be really aggressive on the market, with a product that our customers need, not something they want. And that was a little our lesson in the growth of Tiller. We started with a product that our customers needed as a way in, and now more and more in the past 5 years, we've built a product customers want. And so just to give you an idea, the first steps, the first proof of concept was, this was the story, was selling a product that at the beginning wasn't adapted, and more was found. It's what we call the product market fit, meaning that we find a product that is adapted to the market that fits the needs. And that was the iPad-based point-of-sale system. Just to give you a quick history of it is, we always kept in mind our final idea of analytics, of doing management, but we know the iPad-based, the point-of-sale system, is the center for a restaurant. When you're a merchant, when you're a restaurant owner, every transaction you take has to go through the register, through la caisse in French. So we knew it was essential, and we know that selling an essential product is much easier than selling an innovative or something new that comes in. So it was a little our way in. That's a little different than what some startups do today, is reinventing something that exists. We just said, okay, what do our customers need on a day-to-day basis? And what are they already paying for and what they're willing to pay? The register. Okay, so let's take what's good in the current register and let's improve it and let's make something they'll buy. And that is how in just over 2 years at the beginning, we signed over 3,000 customers. And the way we did it is not online, is not doing ads, it's not doing campaigns, it's just doing pure old sales. And I'm a big fan, and at Taylor, I think we have a strong culture of sales, of direct sales. And I know it's, let's say, a very American way of thinking, but for me, if your customer is on the street, if you can go talk to your customer, why spend it? Of course, this only applies to us, but why spend money on ads? Why spend money on trying to chat with him online? Why not just go, take your phone, pick up your phone, give him a call? Why not go to his door, knock, and talk to the guy? Sure, it's tough because the average rejections we got on 100 restaurants was 98. So on 98 restaurants you go to at the time, you only get a meeting with 2 of them, which is already a good number. So it's a very tough system, but it allows you to go very fast on the market. It allows you to be very efficient and very aggressive, especially when you enter a market like ours that is highly competitive. When we entered the market in 2016, there were many, many players on it that were doing the same as us. And we just said, okay, we can't yet differentiate by the product because for now we have a product that customers need, not want. So let's differentiate by the sales part. So we were very, very aggressive on it. And the 21st people we hired at Tiller, maybe it was a mistake, but were salespeople. And we're salespeople, they were not startup-y salespeople. Even today it's better known. They were sharks. They were people that sold windows, that sold insurances, that sold, that could sell their family if they needed to. They were, you can see, I don't know if you guys see the show White Gold. Yeah, about Windows salespeople, they're those salespeople. And interesting enough, and that's maybe a little aparté, one of the first salespeople we hired left now, and she built a sales school here called Iconoclast. If you guys know it, you guys know it, yeah? Okay. So basically all that diversion to say that the second lesson we learned a little is that at some point if you want to go target your customer and see if the product really sells, you have to go on the field, you have to pick up your phone and go talk to your customer. And so that's a little how we entered the market. So we conquered, this was our conquest phase, we call it now, is going as fast as possible to get as many customers as possible. But then we entered a phase where we were growing a lot. So we passed from 2,000 to 5,000 restaurants in just a year and a half. And this is where we found out that there were more and more challenges. Why? Because it was a market, so this was a little the sales we had before, but it was a market that was more and more competitive. It was a market where it wasn't enough in 2017 to sell a product customers needed. We needed more and more to sell a product customers wanted. And something they wanted is not just a point of sale. They wanted an ecosystem. They wanted a product that could bring many things together. They wanted something new. And you see it a lot in the companies that evolve from, at the beginning, a product when you enter the market, everyone wants that product as it is. And more it evolves, that product often becomes a commodity. We've seen it with banks. We've seen it with the register. We've seen it with many things that make that a product goes from necessary to just a commodity. And the problem when a product becomes a commodity is that no one is willing to pay for it anymore. And then you have to find other ways to differentiate. You have to bring more value, you have to bring more products, you have to bring more things. And our vision in that is to pass from a simple product, because we have to say it, for 4 years, our product was a fairly simple product of just a cash register and some analytics behind, to a marketplace. So we integrated around 60 players, 60 partners around to really bring value to the partner. And that's a little the third lesson. So the first lesson, if I have to remember something of the company, is that a product is good for me when someone is paying for it, not even willing to pay for it. The second one is if you want to go get a customer, just go, knock on the door, pick up your phone. And the third one is don't be alone on it. It's very hard in today's world, I feel, as my small experience, of course, to, wait, can you hear me better like this? Maybe, yeah, okay. It's very hard in my experience to just go and sell a product by yourself. For example, our customers are restaurants, are merchants. But how many solutions out here address merchants or restaurants? I don't know, maybe in the room you said there were many entrepreneurs. How many are targeting merchants or restaurants? Okay, a couple, and thank you. It was tough or else. But still, the idea is to say, at some point, a customer, take whatever customer, is going to need many solutions and many digital solutions. If you take a restaurant owner, they're going to need payments, they're going to need loyalty, they're going to need a register, they're going to need analytics, they're going to need many, many things. So basically, why not work together with these partners and bring more value to the customer? This allows easier access to a customer, because the largest cost in a startup and when you're creating is your acquisition cost, so you can share that. It allows a share of revenue, because you can take revenue from your different partners. And it also allows stickiness for the customer, because a customer that's integrated, that has integrated payments, a register, analytics, accounting, even if he's unsatisfied in one of the products, he's not going to switch. However, if you have different silos, they can easily switch. And it's a strategy that Salesforce implemented very well. Today, does any of you have Salesforce in their companies or worked with Salesforce? I can imagine. You can't change it. It's impossible. Not because of Salesforce, not because it's good, because it's not especially good. It's just there are so many things that are interconnected that it's very hard to change it. So you'll rather change everything around it than the core. And that's a little what we try to do with all these partners. So we've launched a couple of new solutions. We've interestingly done an acquisition last year after our fundraising. Why? Because the same vision behind it brings stickiness to the product. And once you bring stickiness to the product, to your customers, for us through integrations, for other companies in a different way, it really allows you to differentiate yourself, and the customer can't switch necessarily. Last step, so this was a little last year, we've switched. We've passed from a very, very, very aggressive sales strategy of just going direct door to door, more and more customers, to really building this ecosystem. And as I remind you, at the beginning we were a cash register. Then we integrated partners all over it. And now, in fact, we don't consider ourselves a register. And it's a little our product evolution is, as I was saying at the beginning, passing from something the customer needs to something he wants. And today he doesn't want a register, and he doesn't want just many partners. He wants an ecosystem. And that's what we try to call, we built an ecosystem around all these partners. And today, for around 10% of our customers already, we don't sell the register. We don't sell what was our core product. We integrate with competitors that sell a register. Why? Because we believe that they are still selling a product the customer needs. And we're trying to go up a level and sell what he wants, even if it means selling some of our competitors. So this is a little in our mission, our goals, our vision. What we say is, and we don't talk, and that's a little the product evolution over the years, is we're not talking about the product we started with and the one that made our DNA and the one most of you guys probably know us with. We're trying to evolve to say that we're an ecosystem, an innovative ecosystem that would integrate many solutions and possibly including competitors on it. So that was the quick talk, yeah. But I think it's interesting if you guys have questions about any of the topics, anything I said, feel free.
Thank you. It is obviously a pitch for marketplace, which I applaud, and I think is quite good. And I understand that is a bet, but then it all comes down to a decision where you actually had to decide quitting basically on the cash register thing and then moving into the marketplace. The thing is that when you actually realize that that was the point, it was because you actually see that the people were not actually maybe the customer lifetime value of your clients were decreasing, or it was hard for your sales to keep up the rhythm, or the investors told you, hey, we're not gonna fund your thing or your team. What is the triggers that actually activate that kind of decision on moving into this marketplace approach?
It's a good question, and we don't define ourselves as a marketplace, but we will at some point. I think we don't have to fool ourselves. One of the main triggers for many companies is looking at what is done in other places. For me, most things have already been invented, so we can tweak them, we can change them, we can do them our way. But for example, we look a lot at what is happening in Asia, what is happening in the US, and we saw that shift coming. We saw that shift coming a couple of years ago, so we followed also that shift. We've seen if it can be adapted to the market, and we followed it. We also see, and it can be interesting to analyze shifts that are happening in other verticals than yours. For example, we're focused on restaurants in a large sense. We know that the hospitality industry, because we know it well, has 2 to 5 years, is 2 to 5 years in advance from the restaurant. So we also know that the trends can follow. So I think the whole job, and your whole job as founders and our job as founders, is to analyze the trends, to see what's happening, and to make the shift before it's too late or before you're losing too much time. The shift from a register to this marketplace took time. It took 2 years. And when we decided it only started 6 months after, because at some point you have decisions to make, you have financial constraints. This model is not financed the same way. If you take just a financial model, we used to sell the cash register. This is an affiliation model and a revenue share model. So everything takes time, but I think it's a bet that you can base on the history of what happened in your company, of other markets, of competitors, of partners. You have to try to know very well what's happening to be able to make the decision fast.
Hi, I'm Max. My question is, at what point did you decide to switch from the register approach to the marketplace approach? Was it just maybe a fundraising, or was it like at one point you came and saw like competition was too strong? Was it maybe like, I don't know, your vision? Was it the initial vision?
So first answer, it was our vision. We always wanted to go that way, to have analytics. And the second vision, to be very bold, is that for me, and at the time it's taking more time than I expected, but in less than 12 months, the register is a commodity, meaning it will be very hard to make money out of it. And to be very honest, and it's happening in many markets, and it's one of the reasons banks or neobanks don't make you pay, most of them, for the card, when a couple of years ago they did, to take the example before, because it's become a commodity. And the same for the register. In less than 12 months, I'm sure no one will be willing to pay for it. And we just don't want to miss the shift, because when you miss those kind of shifts, it's when companies die. But it's a big opportunity for the others that took the shift.
Hi. I would like to know, how does the partner integration happens? Do you ask them to be onboarded on your like app marketplace, or do you request them? Do they come to see you? Or?
So it's a good question, because at the beginning it was chaos. So some would call us, some would do it online. So very quickly we decided, when we were going towards this model, to have a completely open API, very documented, and just try to let all the partners be independent and be able to do them by themselves. So we have a team inside the company that helps them, that grows with them, that can answer the questions. But basically we have a fully open API. You can do the integrations, you can do the development. We have now, which we didn't used to have, quality checks to be sure that it brings value to the customers, it brings value to the merchants. But basically you can build your solution on Tiller, integrated to Tiller, with Tiller, and then, or you just sell it independently, or we can push it if we see there's a real business case and business value.
Okay, thanks. And how does it work? Like, does each customer has to download the partner, or is it already on the app?
So we have what is called an app market. So basically a customer of Tiller, whichever style, will be able to select in the list. So there are around 70 partners today that are integrated. And he will say, I don't know, I want payments, for example. So he will select payments, he'll see the difference, he'll see iZettle, he'll click, and it will directly create the account, it will directly integrate, and when he'll open his till again, he'll have his payment solution, or whichever other payment solution, or other partner. So we really wanted to make it as simple as possible. We made it so simple at the beginning that we had many partners that were horribly integrated, that caused shitload of problems to the customers, of bugs and everything. And since then, we've cut it and we've optimized it a lot. But basically, we wanted to keep a completely open ecosystem for people to integrate. Okay,
So how do you share value with your partners when you, let's say, you introduce payment? Or?
So it'll depend. Different models. You can work with partners. You can work on an affiliation model. So basically, if you bring them leads, they'll pay you a commission for the lead or for the customer. Same the other way. You can do a revenue share model, for example, for payments, meaning on the commission they take, you share it, or same on our side. You can do partners that there is the only partnership is communications. It's generating leads, it's integration, it's stickiness. You can have basically those 3-4 models. Yes.
First, thanks for sharing your story. I had one question. I saw on one of your slides that you launched in Italy. So I actually have 2 questions. The first one, what were the main challenges you faced to adapt the product to the Italian markets? And the second one, did you adopt the same strategy by hiring, I don't know, 20 Italian sales to sell your product?
Thank you. So yeah, I didn't tell you a lot about Tiller, what it is, because I want to keep it about our challenges, our story. But since in the last couple of years, so we're around 170 people today, with 8,000 customers. So now you have the numbers. And we've launched offices in Spain and Italy. When we open a country, and especially Italy, we have 2 things. One is we want to test the sales part. So the first thing we hire are salespeople, local salespeople that go on the field and that test the market, even though they don't sell a real product. I'm a strong believer in just going to a customer, selling a fake product, having him pay for it and see if it works or not. And just telling the customer, okay, even if you were willing to pay for it, it's not ready, it will come after, but at least you test your market. I don't know if that was very clear explanation. No? Yeah. So what we will do in Italy is we will have nice designs of the product that can be local. We'll go to the customers, sign them, and tell them, okay, oh, do you like it? Yeah, I love it. Okay, are you willing to pay for it? Yeah, sure, okay, pay. And we'll take the money from the customer. And even if the product, and then we'll come back a day after or 2 and say, hey, we'll pay you back or we'll give you more money to test it. But the idea behind it is we really want to test that. And we've kept in our DNA the fact that for a customer, for us to be adapted to a market, we want customers to pay for it. And it goes with the product side. So basically, sales and product will work very closely together, even if it's a relationship that is not very common in many companies, to launch the product, to launch the country, and to make sure that the product is adapted to the customers, to the country, and to the needs they have. I don't know if that answers your... Yeah.
Que la famille.